The city of Beijing never sleeps. But that night it felt like the world itself held its breath. Cameras flashed in the distance, fans whispered through their masks, and the cold breeze carried a secret that was about to explode across every social platform in China. Somewhere behind the towering walls of a sleek glass building, two figures moved silently, shadows against the moonlight. Xiao Zhan's familiar silhouette appeared first, tall, graceful, moving with the calm of someone who didn't want to be seen. Moments later, another presence followed. Wang Yibo, his face half hidden beneath a hoodie, his steps cautious but purposeful. The two met under the dim glow of the security light, their eyes locking for the first time in months. It wasn't just a meeting. It was a collision of emotions long buried. The silence between them spoke louder than words. Anger, longing, confusion, all wrapped in the tension of the moment. And then, like fate itself had planned it, a camera clicked. One photo, one flash, and the world would never see them the same again. That single sound froze them. Xiao Zhan's jaw tightened. Yibo's eyes darted to the source. But instead of retreating, Xiao Zhan stepped closer, his voice barely a whisper. "Yibo, are you still running from this?" Yibo's answer came like thunder after a storm. "I'm not the one hiding, G." The words hit deep, slicing through the distance that time and fame had built between them. They stood there, the cold night pressing on their skin, the air trembling with something electric. What they didn't know was that behind a tinted car window nearby, a paparazzo had already started live streaming. Within minutes, social media caught fire. Is that Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo together at midnight? What are they doing alone like that? Are we finally seeing the truth? The comments exploded faster than lightning. Hashtags trended. Fans flooded timelines with theories, anger, and hope. The world was caught watching what no one was meant to see. Two of China's brightest stars caught in the act. But the real story wasn't what people thought. Inside the building they had snuck into, a quiet piano room waited. Dust coated the keys, and a faint smell of rain lingered. This was the same studio where they'd recorded their duet years ago. The same place that had witnessed laughter, rehearsals, arguments, and finally, the silence that separated them. Yibo walked toward the piano and pressed one key, E-flat. The sound lingered. "Still sounds the same," he murmured. Xiao Zhan smiled faintly. "You remember everything." Their conversation flowed like a forgotten melody, hesitant at first, then warmer. They spoke about what went wrong, about the misunderstandings and the rumors that had painted their friendship in every color but truth. "I hated how people made us enemies," Xiao Zhan confessed, voice trembling slightly. "I hated how I let them," Yibo replied. The weight of honesty filled the room. And then it happened, a gesture so simple, yet so powerful. Xiao Zhan reached out and rested his hand on Yibo's shoulder. No words, just silence. But in that silence, forgiveness bloomed. Outside, the rain began to fall, soft, rhythmic, almost as if nature itself wanted to wash away everything that had been said about them. At that very moment, another flash lit the room. The paparazzo had climbed to the window, desperate for one more photo. And this time, he captured the exact second Xiao Zhan's hand rested on Yibo's shoulder, Yibo looking up at him with an expression that was neither anger nor surprise, but peace. The next morning, the internet shattered. Headlines screamed, "Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo caught in the act." What really happened? Some claimed they were secretly collaborating again. Others whispered it was a reconciliation, maybe something deeper. The truth, only they knew. But behind the chaos, behind the millions of reposts and fan edits, something beautiful had happened. They had found their way back, not as the icons everyone demanded them to be, but as two people who once shared a dream and refused to let time destroy it. That afternoon, Xiao Zhan's studio released a single photo, a candid shot of the piano. No faces, just two coffee cups on top of it. His caption read, "Some songs never end. They just wait to be played again." Fans went wild. Comments flooded every corner of the internet. "They are back together. This friendship is legendary. We knew it wasn't over." Meanwhile, Wang Yibo posted a cryptic message of his own. Sometimes the best moments are the ones the world isn't supposed to see. It was enough to send shivers through every fandom. The two posts became the most shared updates of the year. But behind the public show, something even more intimate unfolded. Late that night, Xiao Zhan visited Yibo's rehearsal hall. There was no media, no noise, just the quiet hum of the lights above them. "You know this won't stop the rumors," Yibo said softly. "I don't care," Xiao Zhan replied. "Let them say what they want. We know the truth." Yibo looked at him, his usually unreadable face softening into something rare. "Then let's give them something worth talking about." He pulled out his motorbike helmet, the same one fans had seen in countless photo shoots, and handed it to Xiao Zhan. "Come on, let's ride like old times." The roar of the bike filled the empty streets as they sped through the city, the wind carrying laughter that had been missing for years. Neon lights blurred into streaks of color. For the first time in forever, they weren't idols. They were just two souls rediscovering freedom. By dawn, the rumors had grown unstoppable. Some said they were filming a secret project. Others believed they were in love. Whatever the truth, their bond had reignited something in people, a reminder that even under pressure, real connection never dies. Weeks later, an anonymous leak revealed a snippet of a new song, two voices harmonizing perfectly. Fans instantly recognized it. Xiao Zhan's soft warmth, Yibo's cool steadiness. Together again. The track went viral before its official release, and the name on the leaked file read simply, "Caught in the Act." People thought it was a coincidence, but insiders knew better. It was their message, a musical confession to the world. During the live premiere, Xiao Zhan appeared first, dressed in pure white, his expression calm but emotional. Moments later, Yibo walked onto the stage, dressed in black, matching him like yin and yang. The crowd erupted. Tays, screams, disbelief, all merged into one thunderous wave of emotion. As the lights dimmed, the piano began to play, the same piano from that night. Their voices rose together, blending into something so raw, so real, that even those who doubted them felt silent. By the time the song ended, the world finally understood. Caught in the Act wasn't about scandal. It was about truth, about being caught in the act of forgiveness, of friendship, of courage to face the world together once again. When the final note faded, Xiao Zhan looked over at Yibo, smiling softly. "Looks like we're trending again," he joked. Yibo smirked. "Then let's make it worth it." The crowd roared, but they didn't hear it anymore. All they could hear was the sound of the past healing, one note at a time. From that night onward, every rumor, every misunderstanding began to lose its power. Fans stopped fighting. Instead, they celebrated. They replayed the concert again and again, sharing the message that had changed everything. Sometimes, being caught in the act isn't a scandal. It's a revelation. And for Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo, it was the moment the world saw the truth not through gossip, but through music, trust, and unbreakable connection. The flash of the camera still echoed in Xiao Zhan's mind like a thunderclap that refused to fade. It was supposed to be a quiet night, a moment of truth between two people who had once shared everything. But that single burst of light had turned their secret into a spectacle. Outside, the city was asleep. Inside, time had stopped. Xiao Zhan stood still, his hand still resting gently on Wang Yibo's shoulder. The air between them was charged, a mix of fear, surprise, and something far deeper. For a heartbeat, they didn't move. They didn't breathe. They just stared at each other, the truth flickering in their eyes. "Someone saw us," Yibo whispered, his voice low, his heartbeat loud enough to fill the silence. "I know," Xiao Zhan replied softly, but there was no panic in his tone, only calm acceptance. Maybe it's time they did." Yibo blinked, confused. "What are you saying?" Xiao Zhan turned his gaze toward the window, where the faint reflection of flashing lights painted their silhouettes on the glass. "We've been running from the truth for too long. Let them see what they want. We know what's real." The words hung between them like fire, dangerous but liberating. Outside, the paparazzo tried to get a clearer shot, his breath fogging the camera lens. He had no idea that what he was capturing wasn't a scandal. It was history in the making. Inside, Yibo took a step closer, his voice softening. "You're not scared?" Xiao Zhan smiled faintly. "I've been scared for years, Yibo, but not tonight." He turned back to face him, eyes glowing with quiet determination. The dim light flickered across his face, and for a second, he looked like the same young man who once stood beside Yibo on stage, fearless, proud, and full of life. The tension broke. Yibo exhaled a shaky laugh. "You're crazy." "Maybe," Xiao Zhan replied, "but so are you." That made Yibo laugh harder, real laughter this time, the kind that came from deep inside. It was the first time in a long time they had laughed together like that. The camera outside clicked again, but they didn't care. For once, they weren't acting. They weren't performing. They were living. After a while, Yibo walked over to the old upright piano in the corner. His fingers hovered above the keys. "Do you still remember this?" Xiao Zhan's eyes softened. Every note. Yibo pressed a key, soft, hesitant, and the first note of their old song filled the room. The one they never got to finish. Without hesitation, Xiao Zhan joined him, singing the melody under his breath, his voice low and soothing. Yibo smiled as he played, their harmony wrapping around the room like magic, fragile yet powerful. Outside, the rain started again, the sound tapping gently against the glass. The paparazzo still recorded, unaware he was capturing something no one else had ever seen, two souls finding their rhythm again. Minutes passed, but to them, it felt like forever. When the final note faded, the silence that followed was almost holy. "Still perfect," Yibo said softly. "You were always the better player," Xiao Zhan replied. "Maybe," Yibo smiled, "but you were always the heart." For a moment, they just looked at each other, the unspoken emotions flowing between them. Gratitude, regret, admiration, and something too powerful to name. Then, the sound of a car pulling up outside broke the spell. Yibo's expression hardened. "We should go before." Before he could finish, Xiao Zhan shook his head. "No, not this time." He walked toward the door, opened it, and stepped out into the rain. The cold droplets fell against his skin, soaking through his shirt, but he didn't flinch. Yibo followed, the same determination flickering in his eyes. The paparazzo's camera turned toward them instantly, flashes slicing through the darkness like lightning. Click, click, click. Each shot captured something new. Xiao Zhan standing tall, Yibo beside him, both unafraid, both drenched in rain and truth. The paparazzo shouted questions. "Are you two together again? Is this a secret project? What really happened tonight?" Neither answered. They just stood side by side, silent but unbreakable. Then Xiao Zhan did something no one expected. He looked straight into the lens, his expression calm, his eyes burning with emotion, and said softly, "Sometimes being caught isn't the end. It's just the beginning." And with that, he turned away, walking toward the waiting car, Yibo close behind. That single line went viral within hours. Sometimes being caught isn't the end. It's just the beginning. It became the quote of the year. Fans wrote it on posters, captions, and fan art. It wasn't just about two stars anymore. It was about courage, honesty, and staying true to what matters. By morning, every media outlet was buzzing. Some called it a scandal. Others called it a miracle. But the truth was simpler. That night, the world didn't catch two celebrities. It caught two humans rediscovering each other in the storm. Later that day, behind closed doors, Yibo looked at Xiao Zhan and said, "You knew this would happen, didn't you?" Xiao Zhan smiled softly. "Maybe, but sometimes the world needs to see what real looks like." And real it was, because from that night on, no amount of rumor or noise could shake the truth that had been revealed in the rain. The truth of two souls standing together against everything that tried to tear them apart. The night they were caught in the act didn't ruin them. It redefined them. And for millions watching, it was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful act of all is being caught in a moment of truth. Movie Camera, if you love this story, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more heart-stopping, cinematic tales of Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo. Stories that remind us that even in the spotlight, the truest moments are the ones that happen in the dark.